on today, Crystal Palace confirmed Roy Hodgson is back until the end of the season. They sacked Patrick Vieira on St. Patrick's Day and they reappointed Roy Hodgson. I know what you're thinking. This turned into a Palace chat. It hasn't. It's international break, all right? Give us a break. You'll say, we're fed up with the Moyes stuff. Well, here's your alternative. It's Crystal Palace stuff. Well, it's not just that. It's a bit of relegation talk, if you like, but we've used the Roy Hodgson thing as the clickbait to just lure you in. But anyway, Gonzo, Roy Hodgson to Crystal Palace, what do you make of it? The reason I want to discuss it is because I got quite a strong opinion about it. And when I have a strong opinion, I ain't afraid to discuss it like a gobby Scotsman on a webcam.
Well, I think first of all, his contract had ended at Crystal Palace last time. And whilst he didn't sign a new one, there was no ambition from the board for him to sign a new one. The board very much wanted to go in a different direction. So
Sam Allardyce, like Sam Allardyce.
Exactly what it was. So, you know, if I use the word sacked by Crystal Palace, please take it with a pinch of salt. It was a parting of the ways. It's basically Roy jumped before he was pushed. You know, he knew he was going to get the elbow, basically. So that happened. His contract expired. There was a feeling within the fan base that we had a bit of Charltonitis with the Palace fan base, which was a Charltonitis. I mean, under Alan Kirbishley, I think he's taken us as far as he can. We need to get rid of Kirbishley to move on to the next level, and it didn't work out quite so well for them. So, but there was a feeling within the fan base that they wanted some more expansive football. So there was a parting of the ways. And that was that, really. I think Vieira came in. I think Vieira was quite exciting when he initially came in as well. But you know what? I think I've got my own opinions on whether he will do well at Palace or not. But in terms of them going back in for him, I think it's certainly more of a climb down for Crystal Palace, bearing in mind with that knowledge than it is for Roy Hodgson. And it's... We just recorded a video prior to this where we've discussed David Sullivan. There is desperation in it, and you know
that'll be tomorrow's video. This is Tuesday's video. The one we've already done a little bit about Will Still and Sullivan. That's Wednesday's video. So you'll get that tomorrow. Yeah,
switcheroo. I like it. Okay.
Hey, this is the topic. The Roy Hodgson's topic at the minute. I'm missing out if I put that up.
Yeah. Okay. The old space-time continuum. Right. So the video that we've already discussed tomorrow. We were talking about Sullivan panicking. This is Panic by Steve Parish. But as you will hear us discuss tomorrow, panic is not necessarily a bad thing. But I do think, though, Geo, if I must say, I think they probably wanted Carrick, and Carrick said no. That's my reading of the situation. And why would he? So he should stay at Borough and see if he can get them up. I mean, they're free scoring, they're doing really well, and they may well. I mean, they're in third. They may well get to second, actually. So. So I think they've then gone, right, okay, we've sacked Patrick. Michael Carrick won't come. What about Roy? So they've gone and got Roy.
I think it's a terrible appointment. I really do. I think if I was a Palace fan, I'd be fuming. Vieira came in last season. They had a good season. They played some decent football. Good players, good technical players on display as well. Whenever I watched Palace last season, I never really felt that they ever had the first 11 fully fit. Either Elise or Eze always seemed to be injured, and was sort of, as a neutral, I was looking forward to seeing Zaha, Eze and Elise in the same team, and I thought that'd be entertaining and stuff. This season, it just hasn't worked. I don't know why. When I watched Palace, it just seemed a little bit stale and whatever. But again, coming out of the World Cup, they were sitting mid-table relatively comfortably. I always felt they were going to get sucked into the relegation battle. I'm going to say I'm correct as well. They might not get relegated, but they're definitely in the battle now. They're 3 points ahead of West Ham. We got 2 games in hand over them. Now, granted, one of them is Man City away, so let's write that one off. But they're now in the relegation battle. And I think for Vieira, the performances haven't been that bad recently. The results aren't great, but they've been missing Zaha, putting a really spirited defensive display against Crystal Palace. And they've had some really difficult fixtures. And I think the remaining fixtures, majority are against the bottom 8 in the Premier League. The fixtures are really, really winnable.
Yep.
And I felt a little bit sorry for Vieira, actually, because I thought he might be thinking, hang on, I deserve a crack at those fixtures because things have gone against me here and now I've got to go. But I understand why they've sacked him. No wins in 2023. It's April when they play their next game. To get to April and not have won a game all year is not a good thing. And it spells danger. They are getting sucked into the relegation battle. But I think the appointment of Roy Hodgson is just horrendous. I actually think under Patrick Vieira, I think defensively, I think they've actually been okay. I think the problem has been at the other end of the pitch. They're not really posing enough threat. You know, they went 3 games in a row without a shot on target. I think they've got 10 games in a row now without scoring in the first half of games. These are horrible attacking statistics. There's not really any bad defensive ones. And when Roy came up, I thought, surely not, because he's going to try and make them defensively better. But offensively, I'm not really sure Hodgson's going to do that much. And it's almost like they've got the manager in to solve a problem that doesn't need solved. And the problem that does need solved isn't really his forte. And I think this is where Sullivan will look at it. And if we go back maybe a month ago when the pressure was on Moyes, and there was a little thing that Sullivan didn't really want to make the same mistake that Southampton did, hiring Nathan Jones and having to sack him. And he's a little bit, I don't want to do that. And then Leeds were struggling to get a manager, and Southampton were struggling to get a manager to replace the sacked Nathan Jones. And Sullivan was a bit, I don't want to fall into that. I think Sullivan will be looking at this Crystal Palace thing, thinking, no, I can't sack Moyes, because what am I going to do if I end up not being able to? I don't have anyone to go get. We've got the guy we had to go get. It's a desperate situation for Crystal Palace. And as a West Ham fan, it's made me a little bit hopeful, actually, because I think that's not going to save you. I felt when Everton appointed Sean Dyche, I thought, Bucker, that's a really good appointment. That should be enough. When Crystal Palace announced Roy Hodgson, I thought, down into the relegation battle you come, sunshine. Thank you for that one. I think you ballsed that one up.
Oh, I'm interested. Totally the opposite. Totally
are you? Do you think they're?
Yeah. Hodgson will keep him up. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think Vieira would have kept him up. So let's have a little look. While we're here, shall we? Okay. So they've just got a tonking by Arsenal. No shame in that. They play Leicester. They play Leeds. They play Southampton. They play Everton. They play Wolves. They play us. They play Bournemouth. They play Forest. And the other two who are, obviously out of it are Tottenham and Fulham. Yeah, absolutely.
All teams with something to play for, though. I know they're down the bottom, but
all we could do is guess. Ultimately, one of us will be proven right, one of us will be proven wrong. But it's not the fact that Roy Hodgson is so superior. I think Vieira would have kept them up, and yes, I would totally agree that Vieira needed a run. Probably deserved that run of games there. I know full well what Hodgson will do, though, and Hodgson will make them even tougher to beat. They will counter, and they will counter quickly. Vieira was trying to implement a more possession-based style.
Yeah, I can go along with that. Okay, they do, like I said, they do have good attacking players. It's just Vieira wasn't getting the best out of them.
No, but what Hodgson will do is he'll get Zaha in the box. He'll get Zaha in the box. They'll win some penalties. He might even drop Milivojevic back into the middle. He'll score some penalties. But they've also got, I think they've got Will Hughes there, who's not been used, too much recently. I think you'll find Hodgson will probably get him back involved as well. They've got a good centre back there. They've got a couple of decent fullbacks. One decent fullback. I just think they've probably got enough with that. So, here's the thing. Ultimately, if he keeps them up, which I think he will, Steve Parish will be proven right. But I do think a lot of people could have gone in. I think they could have gone and got Warnock back. And
it's not a difficult job keeping Palace up. They are, like you said, a good team. I know what you're saying about centre mid. I disagree. I think he'll stick with Decore and Lokonga, and I think Lokonga has been fantastic since he's gone in there in January. And but we'll wait and see. Other good news for West Ham over the weekend: Fulham kicked off in the FA Cup game. Mitrovic sent off, Willian sent off, Silva sent off. They'll all miss the West Ham game.
What?
How have you missed this?
Did 3 players get sent off in a football match?
At the same time? How have you missed it? You need to go Google this immediately. Basically, Sancho had a shot. Willian handled it on the line. So referee, blah, 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 red card. And Mitrovic went mental at him and touched him. There's calls for Mitrovic to get a 10-game ban for it because he physically...
The referee?
Yeah, he spun the referee round. The referee gave him a red card. And he got in his face so much that the referee had to walk back because I said, whoa, Mitrovic didn't punch him or anything, but he was in his face aggressively. So, but the good thing is, Gonzo, so Willian and Mitrovic will get a minimum 3 games, and you'd imagine Silva will as well. Not that saying that, we've got quite a bad record when we come up against assistant managers, but
terrible.
but the good news is we are Fulham's second fixture. They're our third. We play Southampton, Newcastle, Fulham. Fulham play someone, and then West Ham. But they'll be doing it without Willian and without Mitrovic on the pitch and without Marco Silva in the dugout.
Oh, I will go and Google that. Now it sounds
you need to
feisty.
watch the footage. It's very entertaining.
That sounds feisty. Yeah, I mean, I obviously I haven't seen that particular footage. I'm always surprised how more players. I've always thought this. You know, if you was a referee, I always thought to say, the moment you force me to walk backwards, you're gone. Basically, don't get into my face to such an extent I have to do
He
that.
spun him round. He was trying to talk to him. He sent Willian off and he was trying to talk to him, and the referee was sort of half ignoring him. So he just put his hand on his shoulder and like spun him backwards. So the referee said, right, red card. And then Mitrovic went in and there was like 30-man brawl. Lewis Bournemouth had to come on and try and like pick him up off the pitch.
Oh, rigor mortis came on, did he? Bless him.
Yeah.
How was he getting on?
He came on. Caught my fingers in the desk there. Yeah, I always like Bournemouth because he's got 3 initials on his jacket. It's a bit weird, but not many people have them, do they?
Nice. Yeah, oh, Lewis rigor mortis. Yeah, we love him.
But yeah, that was. I actually think the results went for us at the weekend, Gonzo. I know you're a bit more doom and gloom because we're in the bottom 3 now. Negative Gonzo. But when I saw them, I was okay with them because I found myself in the last couple of weeks. No, I wouldn't say rooting for Leicester because they are our relegation rival. However, there's a part of me hoping they do get out of it because we played them on the last game of the season. I want Leicester to be safe by then so that they've got nothing to play for. Because the last thing I want is to go into that match day 38 and at least one of us is, oh, no, I don't want that situation. Right, Sky would love it. Yeah. I wouldn't. And I think we'd crumble, quite frankly. So I actually want match day 38. I want Leicester safe. I want them 5-6 points away from relegation so that they can go, oh, thank God. And then we'll turn up and go, oh, thank you very much, bang. But like when Villa played us and they needed to get something to stay up and we were just a bit like, we're safe now. We've done our bit kind of thing. So I'm kind of secretly okay with Leicester picking up points. Rather they didn't, but at the same time, I'm thinking ahead. We could do with them getting out of it. But yeah, Wolves got beat again. Southampton dragged it back, but Spurs being Spurs and all that. Forest got a hiding, but Bournemouth got beat.
I like it. Listen, I don't want to be negative. All right, I like when people say this stuff. I like it because it makes me think, maybe we'll stay out.
Palace got hiding. I said Forest got hiding. I think I'm wrong about that. I was imagining Bournemouth at Villa.
Yeah, Forest lost, didn't they? But yes, but Palace lost. 4-1,
yeah, Newcastle beat them in the last minute.
Yeah, 2-1, wasn't it? Yeah.
Defeat. Point for Leicester, not ideal. But we'll take it. Everton did well to get a point at Stamford Bridge, but I think it was a good set of results for West Ham. Yes, we're in the bottom 3, but I'm looking at that league table thinking we can do this. Even with Moyes here until the end of the season, I feel, like I said, I'm not confident. I'm not sitting here saying we're definitely staying up, but I still look at it thinking, in our next 3 fixtures, Southampton at home, Newcastle at home, Fulham away without those players, if we can get 7 points, suddenly we're looking okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, I would agree. If we could get 7 points, those 3, wow. Well,
we have to. That's got to be
there. We do, but we'd be showing form that we haven't shown in a very long time. So yeah, that would be good.
This is why it's pivotal to beat Villa, because you'd be going into those 3 fixtures, which you think we can get something from every one of them. You'd be going in with a little bit of confidence and a little bit of momentum to think, right, come on, then let's keep going, because if we had that additional 2 points, we'd be outside the relegation. We'd be a point behind Crystal Palace with 12, with 2 games in hand. It'd be like, whoa, hang on a minute. We're not far off, actually, not turning it around, but just starting to climb away a little bit. But yeah, the next 3 fixtures are huge. Obviously, the Southampton one's pivotal. But yeah, I think Fulham one.
Are you crapping yourself for it? That Southampton game, yeah.
Yeah, I'm counting down the days. Really, I just want to get over and done with. Really, I think it's the weight that's killing me. I'm just like, I can't handle this weight for next week. I wish it was this weekend just so we could get stuck in. But at the same time, I'm glad it's not, because I think a few of the players need just to reset a little bit, go away with the countries, have a good time, hopefully play some good football, get some good results, get a little bit of individual form back and confidence back, then come back and hopefully translate it into what they can do for West Ham. But yeah, I am crapping it for that Southampton game.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
there
you go, a Premier League podcast, and you may have guessed, but tomorrow we are back discussing Will Still, the possibility of him arriving at West Ham to take the hot seat from David Moyes. But you've enjoyed this video, a little bit different, but like I said, it's an international break. You requested something different. Here it is. But if you've enjoyed it, drop a like on it by clicking the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to Chat myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.